What is going down? What the fuck is going down? It is your boy, StudioMaguyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast, baby. Welcome to the show, guys. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the show. If you're into anime, if you're into nerd culture, video games, we talk about all of that shit here. And today's show, guys, episode 224, we have some interesting things to discuss. All my Dragon Ball fans, people who started listening from back in the day, man, I cannot wait to talk about this. There's some new information out there in the Dragon Ball universe / Dragon Ball streets. I cannot wait to dive into this, guys. And it has to do with one of my favorite characters, my number one favorite character in Dragon Ball, and that is Vegeta, the Prince of All Saiyans. So stay tuned for that. A lot of you guys may not know about this, but a lot of you guys probably do. So I can't wait to get into this. Also, my anime watch list, guys. Just going over what I've been watching anime-wise for the last week or so. There's one anime that I want to talk about, and so far in 2021 is going to be my favorite anime so far. So I can't wait to talk about that as well. Also, Black Widow, the movie. I got a chance to see that this past weekend, and I want to discuss that a little bit with you guys. There's been a lot of hate out here in these Marvel Universe streets, and I kind of understand why, and I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit as well. And then let's talk about the elephant in the room of this podcast. But before I get to that, I want to talk a little bit about also Monster Hunter Stories 2. Have I played it? Yes. How do I feel about it? Going to let you know all those details, guys. And then, like I said before, the big macaroni. There's a new system, okay? There's a new system that everybody in the gaming community is talking about. And, yeah, I'm going to talk about that, man. It's from Valve, and it's called the Steam Deck. It is basically a portable fucking PC. Okay, so I'm going to dive into that. I got a lot of information on that, and I want to discuss that with you guys. And yeah, we're going to get into all of that, and let's get started. So first thing I want to talk about is, I guess on the top of the list, is the anime watch list, my anime watch list. Now, last week, if you guys tuned in, you know I talked a little bit about what I was watching. I'm currently watching 7 Deadly Sins. I am currently watching, God damn it, I forgot the goddamn name. I already slipped my goddamn mind. I forgot the damn name of the anime. It's a slice of life anime, but that's what I was watching. Another anime was called 100. So I did finish 100, which was a nice episode or a nice show. It's only, I think, 12 episodes, 13 episodes long. It was a decent little package. Enjoyed that. And then, like I said, I'm in season 3 now, currently, and 7 Deadly Sins. And man, I have to say, 7 Deadly Sins is, I said it before, I said it last week, but I'm really liking this anime. I cannot believe I didn't watch sooner, but excuse me, I'm glad that I didn't, in a sense, because now there's 5 seasons and I can enjoy all of those. So that's the cool thing about that. And yeah, man, I'm really enjoying my time. The other anime that I can't think of right now, the reason why I can't think of it, guys, is because I didn't get a chance to get back to that one. Now, there's another anime that I want to discuss, but before I do, I mean, I'm not going to talk a lot about this anime, but I'm going to briefly discuss it because, guys, you may be pissed at me, but I have not caught up with My Hero Academia yet. The new season, the latest season that's out now, I haven't even watched it. I watched episode 1, and then when it first came out, and then I haven't watched it since. I was basically trying to let the episodes pile up before I get started, but I'm still going to watch it. But I hear people, all the big YouTubers, all the big content creators out there when it comes to anime talking about, how salty they are about this season, okay, with My Hero Academia. So supposedly there's some shit going on, and a lot of people do not like it. They don't like the direction that it's going. And if people who are reading the manga, if you listen to them, then yeah, there's a lot of things, in disarray with that anime, and that's where, I'm kind of torn because I'm not a manga person, so I don't know what's going on in the manga per se. I try to just wait on the anime, but 9 times out of 10, the manga, supposedly from what I'm hearing from a lot of people, manga is usually better than the anime. Not in every situation, of course, but right now, currently, My Hero, that's what we're looking at. You know what I mean? And then also there's a lot of extra freedoms, little bitty freedoms that come with manga as opposed to anime sometimes, because in Japan, they're really strict on a lot of stuff now, especially this last 5-10 years. And as far as blood, guts, gore, and things of that nature, a lot of these anime pull back, especially for Western audiences, and you don't get to see a lot of things you would necessarily see, basically transported from manga to anime. So that's just another conversation, but things are different, between anime and manga, if you guys don't know that. And there's a lot of scheduling differences that cause the anime to basically pay for that when we're talking about manga. So essentially, if you're a manga, which most anime start out as, and most never materialize into anime unless it's very, very popular, then you want to stay far, far ahead of the anime. But what happens sometimes is the anime ends up catching up to the manga, and when that happens, then you have an issue because you have to change some things. That's why when you watch anime, there are a lot of, so to speak, they call them slice of life episodes, filler, if you will. And the reason why that happens is because they catch up too quick to the manga. So it needs to give the manga creators time to write, time to breathe a little bit. And sometimes that's why you get these hiatuses as well. You'll get an anime that comes out, and then you think you're expecting the next season to come out, and it doesn't come out when it's scheduled or when it's supposed to come out. You end up taking a 6-month, 1 year, sometimes 2-year hiatus on certain anime because of that, so that the manga people can catch up and the writers can catch up and get ahead by a healthy amount. And that's kind of like the problem we're having now with Dragon Ball, in a sense. The anime caught up quick. I think now what they're trying to do is basically stay far, far, far ahead of the anime. And right now they're doing a goddamn good job because they're already 2 arcs ahead. And I don't know how many more arcs they're gonna make us wait before they begin the anime. But I have faith that at the end of this year we'll get some kind of news on the future of the anime coming up. So I think 2022 is going to be a big year for Dragon Ball. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about the Dragon Ball conversation here as well. But before I get there, I want to also talk about my favorite anime so far of 2021. And it was an anime I mentioned briefly a few weeks back, and it goes by the name of 86. Now, I briefly touched on 86 because I'd only seen episode 1. All right. And it had potential, but I didn't understand how much it had until I watched the next few episodes, which I think now 5 episodes are available. I've watched all 5, and I'm really enjoying this anime. After getting a little bit more context on it, man, I really appreciate this anime. It's basically about a group of individuals and from a town, and they call it 86. They call the area the 86. And the reason why that is because these people are basically soldiers. They're fighting a war that they're forced to fight. They have no choice in the matter. They're basically forced to fight this war for a community of people who live on the other side of the 86 environment, area, whatever you want to call it. These individuals are all born with silver hair. Okay, so if you are born with silver hair, basically you get all the privileges that high society will allow you to have. Okay, best schools, best all of that. Even in the military, you don't fight in the military. All you do is consult in the military. You're basically a quarterback on the sideline, and you're running plays. Okay, essentially, you're helping out the soldiers who are actually out there on the field, and that's it. You don't go any further than that. Okay, and it's about a woman, a young woman, and she's a major. Her rank is a major, and she's a silver hair, of course. And she finds out, through her father, basically, that this shit is wrong. Okay, in their society, they look at the 86, the people who are not born with silver hair. Their hair is basically every other color but that. Okay, and they disagree with how that society is being ran. They don't like it. They have issues with it, but not enough to do anything real about it until this girl, this woman, who is basically been assigned to this group of people in 86, uh, finds out that, she wants to do something different. She doesn't want to, continue to live that way. And it's a lot of layers to this. There's some scenes in this anime that kind of fucking blew my mind. And I just want you guys to find out for yourself. You need to check out this anime, and it's awesome. Okay. But the 86 control essentially robotic machines, and that's what they use to fight off this other, so to speak, race of people that are basically killing people on a daily basis. Now, what's crazy is when the 86 die, when there's a soldier who dies, or whatever you want to call it, they don't even acknowledge the silver hair people. They don't even acknowledge them as deaths. Okay, they're teaching up and coming, silver haired individuals that, hey, we're fighting in this war, and we're winning this war. We have no casualties. Okay, no deaths, and everything is good. Everything is all love, which is not true. Couldn't be further from the truth. The fact that they didn't even acknowledge the deaths of the people who give their lives for, the greater good, that kind of sucked. And there's more to it than that, a lot more, if I'm being honest. But the relationship that the leader, which is his name, he goes by the Grim Reaper of the 86, the relationship he starts to develop with the Major is interesting. Okay, there's a lot of nuances between those two, and I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out. You know what I mean? It's a very deep, very layered anime, but it's definitely a shonen, and it's something that I highly recommend anybody watch. Right now, it's currently on Crunchyroll. I don't know where else it's playing. I'm assuming Crunchyroll is the only spot right now. Maybe Funimation too. I don't know. I personally can't stand Funimation because their apps are fucking trash, and Crunchyroll barely operates on a decent level. If you ask me, there's a lot of things they could change with their with how they run their app. All of that, but that's another discussion. But I'm saying that to say, go check out 86, guys. There's 5 episodes available now as of this podcast, and I cannot wait to talk more about it as the weeks draw out. This is very interesting to me, so I had to bring it up and let you guys know about it. Okay, now that we're off of that, I kind of want to talk about the Black Widow movie. All right, saw the movie. I actually enjoyed the movie a lot, and maybe I'm a tad bit biased because, after Captain America, one of my other favorite Avengers happens to be Black Widow. But as far as in the MCU, I love Scarlett Johansson. I love Scarlett Johansson as an actress, period. I love all her movies, pretty much. I think she's just, that's one of my crushes. I love Scarlett Johansson. Beautiful. Oh, she's beautiful, man. I love her. And so I'm a little biased towards this movie. Okay. I also loved her in Ghost in the Shell, which a lot of people, that were mixed on because she wasn't of Japanese descent and all of that. But fuck all that. I just love Scarlett. But there were people talking about this movie, and before I had seen it, and I was like, why are people so salty? What's going on now? This is going to be a spoiler discussion, okay, for anybody who hasn't seen the Black Widow. So if you have not seen it, guys, please fast forward this, whatever you need to do. But I got to bring this up. I got to talk about this real quick because this is something I have to agree on. This is something that now I understand why a lot of people were bitching and moaning about it. And yeah, but basically what happened, if you guys aren't familiar with the characters involved in this, which there are some cool characters in here. Okay, the Red Guardian was awesome. Basically, I think he's like a Russian version of, Captain America. He actually has the secret soldier serum within him, and there were some interesting things that were going on about him, and I'm kind of curious about this character a little bit more. So I'm definitely going to look more into his backstory and his character in the Marvel Universe, period. But the real macaroni, the real meat and potatoes of this conversation is going to be talking about the antagonist in this, the main antagonist, in this movie, which happens to be an awesome character in the comic book universe. Okay, and I actually thought this character was pretty awesome in the movie. Had me snowed completely. But I'm talking about I'm talking about Taskmaster. Okay. Now, if you don't know Taskmaster, if you're not familiar with his character in the comics, this dude is a badass times 10, whatever you want to call it. He is basically responsible for training some of the best fighters in the Marvel universe. Okay. And he has a unique gift of observation. In other words, if he fought you, he could basically figure out all your moves and he could learn them on the fly right there by literally fighting you. Okay, that's how dope he is. He's basically like Ten Shinhan, using his using his third eye. Okay, able to observe and then automatically afterwards pick up what you were doing and integrate it into his own arsenal. All right, that's basically what Taskmaster is. He's just a top of the line fighter, like the best fighter, considered one of the best fighters, period, in the Marvel universe. All right. Well, he is not a he in this movie. Okay. And the backstory on this character has nothing to do with what he is technically in the actual comic book universe. All right. And that's what threw a lot of people for a loop, especially me personally. And in the end, you find out that it is a woman. And what's so crazy about it, the whole time you're watching it, the actual female actress, I don't even think she basically had a stunt double who was a guy the whole movie, because it moved, the character was a guy, okay, walking around fighting, all the scenes, all this, even the way the suit is made, you would never guess it was a female. There's no indication whatsoever that there's, slight differences in females' attire, which usually would be in the chest area. You would also have like, smaller, areas on the suit. You know how a woman's body is made. It wasn't anything like that. It was a straight up guy playing this. So nobody would have guessed this. Okay. But that's what a lot of people are salty about. And I have to agree with that. I mean, I don't know why they went there. I don't know why they chose to go with that backstory on on this character. Okay. He could have had his own fucking movie. All right. His movie would have been awesome. They could have done so many things with Taskmaster. They could have made so many cameos, all these things. But they chose this character. So now I don't know what they can do with this character in the MCU. I mean, I think they've played that card, and I don't know if you can play that Taskmaster card anymore. I mean, the way that they've played it and wrote it into this, and a lot of people are just like, "Oh my God, they really broke this character down," and I have to agree with that, man. I mean, if it wasn't Taskmaster, if it was just another character, I would definitely. It would be way easier to digest, and it would be, I think, a lot better in my personal opinion. But the fact that they used his character on this particular, backdrop, I just can't get with it, and that's my major issue with the movie. Everything else when the movie is awesome. I mean, the choreography, the fight scenes, all of those things, man, were awesome. I mean, I'm a more grounded type of person. If I had to choose how I would watch my fight scenes, yes, I like the over the top stuff sometimes, but I really was looking forward to the more grounded fighting and kind of special ops type of training and things of that nature that these guys were doing in this movie. But yeah, I mean, that's my beef with the guys. I would love to know what you guys feel about what I'm talking about. If you saw the movie, did you like it? Did you have any issues with that? People, it was almost like they were showing this for people who did not know who the Taskmaster was, who wasn't really into the comic book scene, and that was a bad move. I don't know who made that decision. I don't know who decided to do it like that, but it was a bad decision, because now what can you do with this character? And if you did do something with this character, I would really like to. I'm so curious to find out how you guys would do that, because now this they're done. I mean, I don't know what you can do with Taskmaster now. I don't understand. So I'm a little salty about that, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I did dig, the aesthetics. A lot of people had things to say about, the design look of the character. For the most part, I dug the Marvel Universe design of the suit and everything like that. I thought it was awesome. So, I mean, I have no beef with that. That's my only beef I have with what they've done with the actual character. And if you know anything about Taskmaster, then you would know this is all wrong. Okay, somebody was in the boardroom literally drinking sake and rolling up scrolls when they were writing this script and they were figuring out what they were going to do with the characters. I mean, I think right there, automatically, if you pulled them out of the room, the breath would fucking sting your nose with the smell of that fucking sake. Okay, filled to the brim as well. Okay, it's so much so that if you fucking moved an inch wrong, left, right, or whatever, that sake would drip over the fucking glass. Okay, they had it filled up to the fucking tip top. All right, and then digested all of it. And they did it straight. They did no chasers, none of that. They didn't eat before they drunk. They said, no, I haven't eaten all day. I'm going to pour a tall glass of sake and make some bad decisions in this boardroom. And that's what they fucking did, okay? They almost brought the butter out, okay? Scarlett Johansson saved the butter. She basically said, no. She pushed back lightly on the butter, on the tub of butter in their hand and said, we're not going to do that tonight. I'm sorry. I'm being a dickhead, but yo, I'm trying to be honest here, guys. These are just my honest opinions, on this movie. I mean, you guys may differ, you guys may feel differently, but this is how I feel, and I'm just curious to know how you guys feel about this subject, and I want to hear from you guys. All right, Instagram, hit me up. Twitter, hit me up. Somewhere, hit me up, guys. And while I'm speaking about that, you can also check me out easily on social media at www.studiomaguyver.com. Check me out, guys, for all of my handles there. You can reach me easily there. You can also support the podcast by buying something. Buy something dope, man. Buy a hat, buy a hoodie, buy a fucking coffee mug. All of those proceeds will go towards helping the podcast, and possibly with enough purchases, maybe allowing me to maybe do another podcast during the week. So 2 podcasts a week instead of 1. Yo, how would that make you guys feel? Okay. But yeah, after saying that, I'm going to get off of it. I think I've beat a dead horse, so I'll leave it alone. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting. And I don't give a fuck what anybody else says about Scarlett Johansson. I mean, she puts a movie out about boo-booing and drinking tea. I'm going to watch it, okay, from beginning to end. That's just how I feel about Scarlett. And, hey, I love her. Scarlett, if you're listening to this podcast, which I'm sure you're not, and you probably never will, but I love you very much. Okay, now let's move on. Let's talk about Monster Hunter Stories 2. Okay, I've had some time with it now, guys. I've broke the wrapper. I'm out here in these Monster Hunter fucking Stories streets, and it is definitely a beautiful surprise. All right, now me personally, I have not yet partaked in any of the extra content. In other words, the online co-op or the PvP, because I am not there yet. I don't feel my character is there, and I'm one of those. I am definitely one of those insecure RPG players. I'm one of those overly cautious players. All right, I like to be overpowered before I move forward, and that's kind of like where I'm at. I don't want to get introduced to warm butter being pulled out on my character out here in these Monster Hunter streets. I don't think he can handle that. I really don't have any other characters, grabbing my character by his cornrows and doing strange things to him in the night. I don't want to do that. Okay, so PvP is out for me right now until I at least get to endgame. All right, so what I'm doing now is I've taken on a bunch of fucking quests. I'm just literally trying to build my character, but at the same time, learn new recipes and things of that nature so that I can be better suited. Right now, I had a conflict with a monster that basically laid me down. Laid me down like an old R&B song. He put me, I went to sleep, okay? And he basically did what he wanted, had his way with me, so to speak. There was definitely warm butter pulled out that day, and I said, damn, how do I remedy this? And there's a quest I'm trying to, do now where, I find that recipe for that fucking energy drink so it wakes me up if I get put to sleep, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I'm trying to negate that shit, right now, and that's really what I'm doing now. I have some outfits, some dope outfits. I'm on the third section, or third area in the game. Third area in the game, the snow area. Okay, if you guys are familiar with that area. But yeah, I got this awesome suit, man. It looks like it was made for Halloween. It's literally yellow and fucking black, and it has a hood on it, and the mask is a fucking jack-o'-lantern's face that kind of glows through the eyes and mouth or whatever. It's very dope. That's what I'm currently wearing right now. And yeah, I'm enjoying myself. They are killing it. Right before this podcast was recording, I checked, and it is number 1. It debuted number 1 in Japan. All right, so this game is definitely a hot item. Okay, right now. And if you guys are fans of JRPGs, like I said before last week, please give yourself an opportunity to play this game. And if you have a Switch, it's so easy because you can download the demo, start from the demo, guys, and then save your progress and move it over when you're ready, just like I did. I mean, I played the demo for 14 hours. Okay, I took my sweet time trying to figure out things, and yeah, it was dope. So I think you guys will like it. If you like JRPGs, you're definitely gonna like it. If you're into like Pokemon, I think this is another game for you because finding monsters, hatching eggs, training monsters, trading genes, all of these things are incorporated into this game, and that's a whole nother dynamic to that game, a whole nother layer to the game, and it's a dope thing. Going after certain monsters and trying to make that monster that you like or that you favor, trying to make them a better monster, the best monster that they can be, so to speak. All right, so definitely check out Monster Hunter Stories 2, guys. I'm loving it right now. I've been busy this past week, and I'm going to be busy for the foreseeable future, so I'm trying to get in gameplay when I can, and anime as well. So it's going to be a couple of busy weeks for me in the next couple of weeks, guys. Got a lot of things going on right now, but it's all good. It's all fucking good. We're here, and I hope you guys check it out. All right. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is something I've been very excited about, guys. And if you're a Vegeta fan, yo, you got to be super excited for this. I'm talking about Dragon Ball Super. All right. Manga chapter 74. Now, the chapter is technically not yet released yet. It's about to be released, and I don't know the actual date of that, but soon, okay? But the main topic at hand, the main thing I want to discuss is the simple fact that Vegeta has a new fucking form, okay? Dude has fucking ascended to something, and, you know, this is something I have to take my hat off to with Dragon Ball Super, especially, you know, with the manga. You know, where they're going with Vegeta right now. I mean, I still don't know. I'm one of those guys that hopes, and I'm always hoping for the best, you know, for Vegeta. But I always seem to get disappointed in certain aspects because they make you think that he's going to, you know, take a step that will eventually make him surpass Goku in a sense, you know, and you always get that butter pulled out on you. You always find out, no, it's just a big build up for nothing. All right. But no matter what, I still love Vegeta. He's one of the most awesome characters in the Dragon Ball universe. He's my all-time favorite, ahead of Ten Shinhan and Frieza. But yeah, I love him to death, man. And, you know, he's done a lot of awesome things in Dragon Ball. And he's going to do a lot of dope things moving forward. But one of those things now has to be that form, guys. It's all over the internet. I mean, it looks awesome. It looks like a Super Saiyan 3, okay, in the face. Basically, no eyebrows, the bulging forehead, and eyebrows coming out. I mean, it looks awesome. The color has not yet been there. Now, there's people who have taken the image and colored it their own self, and people made assumptions on what the color is going to be. Most people seem to think it's going to be his black hair, with purple highlights, and in the back of his head there is a little bit more hair. It's slightly different. I can't, there's not a real way I could describe it. You'd have to go and look for yourself, but it just looks awesome. He also has like an earring, you know, on his ear. I have to tell you, I mean, the look looks awesome. His aura, the aura he has around him looks dark as fucking, looks awesome as hell, man. It looks kind of like Topo, or Topo, however you want to pronounce his name. If you remember that character from the Tournament of Power, basically that god of destruction kind of aura, you know, he has. And a lot of people have made it, you know, has basically said, hey, is this the new god of destruction? They've hinted at Vegeta becoming that, but he has powers similar to that. And this is basically a version of Ultra Instinct in his, you know, looking at it through Vegeta's eyes, if you will. And I have to hope that this is better than Goku shit. I just have to. I will always do that. Whenever Vegeta comes out with a new power or something like that, I have to, you know, hope that, yes, it's better than Goku shit. It usually ends up not being, but I don't know. Vegeta shit is just, as of late especially, though, has just been a lot better from, you know, personally. You know, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this version, because right now he's fighting Granola in this arc. Granola's a new character who's basically, you know, had it out for Frieza is his number one target, but anybody else who had anything to do with his family or his people's demise in that universe, and they pretty much, a lot of them been all killed off. And, you know, he's after Frieza, but he's also after the Saiyans, because they were the ones that Frieza was sending out there destroying planets and whatnot. So, you know, he doesn't know the whole story. he doesn't know who Goku and them are right now, I don't think, and he's basically just fighting. All right, he mopped up Goku, and now he's fighting Vegeta. And in the manga, so far that we're able to see, basically the leak, if you will, he's basically punishing the fuck out of Vegeta. All right, he is handling him, easily. All right, got him bloody, got him messed up, everything scuffed up, and then Vegeta's bleeding from the mouth, and then he begins to smile, and Granola's like, what the fuck, you're still not dead? And Vegeta tells him in so many words like, nah, I got something else for you, sir. And then he begins his transformation, and then you see the fucking forehead bulging out, you see the no eyebrows, you see the hair change slightly, especially in the back, and he gets a little buffer. All right, and then you see that fucking aura around his body. And I mean, there's no words. I mean, go Google it, check it out, guys. But I'm so excited about this, and I can't wait for this chapter. I can't wait to see if he's gonna be, enough to handle that or not. I can't see this arc ending right here, so I'm going to assume that he's going to take out Vegeta, and I only say that for a couple of reasons. One, the major reason is because anytime you have a new form, guys, in the Dragon Ball community, in the Dragon Ball world, you know that it's a watered down version of what it's going to be. If history tells you that, because yes, I mean, I don't know technically how long Vegeta's been working on this form, how long he's known about it, but I can tell you now, it hasn't been long enough to master it for sure. Okay, and usually when you have a new form like that, and you're saying, it takes its toll on your body very quickly. So you're only limited to a certain amount of time to get off your offense before your body starts to betray you and you don't have any more ki left. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to see Vegeta go in there, and turn over the offensive side, and basically, pull out the warm butter on Granola for a while. And then his power runs out. His body's completely drained, and to the point of maybe him even fainting or passing out. We've seen this happen with Goku before, and we've seen it happen with all the Saiyans for the most part before, especially when you're talking about using so much power. So I think that's what's going to happen, and then, we're going to get some sort of interlude, and we're going to figure out the next step, or what's going to happen next, and how we do this next. I mean, I'm still interested to see what's going to happen with this. I mean, the last few arcs, especially in the manga, I mean, pretty much what we've seen in the manga after the Tournament of Power have been awesome. I mean, I have to really admit that. I mean, they're really doing some dope shit, and I'm really upset now because a lot of us we want to see this stuff being brought to life now in anime and on the anime scene. So I think it's going to be good. I think, yes, all this waiting is killing us slowly, but at the same time, if they're doing it right, they're going to take this manga, they're going to animate it in a way that we can smile again. No more of that Dragon Ball Super early game bullshit when you had those elementary kids in classrooms, giving them fucking cookies, paying them with cookies, telling them, hey, we're going to draw some Dragon Ball. We're going to do some Dragon Ball Super episodes. Here's some cookies and milk. Let's get to it. No more of that. Okay. So I would gladly wait another year if I knew that we were going to get that top of the line animation from this studio when it comes to Dragon Ball and the future arcs that we're gonna hopefully be able to see. All right, we know there's a movie in works, but as far as the anime, still no word yet. Hopefully, like I said before, guys, they're starting to produce some things, and they're stacking up, episodes and things of that nature, so they can get way, way, way ahead. Well, the manga is way, way ahead now, so that we can enjoy, the next couple of arcs here, and they can still do their thing with the manga, moving forward. So I can't wait. I think that's what's going to happen when it comes to Vegeta's new form. I just think that's what it's going to be. And he's going to, that's something he's going to look forward to in the future to hone. In other words, I mean, everything may happen like I just described it. And then he goes back and studies, and he goes back and masters that technique. And then when they meet again, it's a whole nother ball game, and then maybe he same thing with Goku. And then you're fighting two of them or whatever. I don't know. I mean, could they actually fight again, beat Granola, and then finally Granola beat him enough to where they can make him listen and tell him, look, yeah, we're one of the last few Saiyans here, and we're not your enemy. We need to go after so and so. And even Frieza, for the most part, that's going to be an interesting dynamic. okay? Because Frieza's not gonna bite his tongue for anybody. He's gonna be a smart ass, and I don't think anybody's gonna be able to stop Granola from going after him. Now the Saiyans may have a slight chance, but even they may not. So I don't know what's going to happen with this. That's why it makes it so interesting, because all the things available to us now, there's so many different turns and twists that could happen with this story. Now, what I wish they would fucking do is incorporate at least the other Saiyans in this arc at some time. I mean, you still have Trunks, you still have fucking, Gotenks. What is going on with those two? I wanted to talk about them a little bit. What's going on with those two in the universe? All right, they're still kids. They're still out there, helping Android 17, in the forest and shit. I don't know what they're doing now. I would love to know. And then we're talking about Gohan, the infamous Gohan. All right, what's going on with him? Is he still serious about fighting? Is he giving up? Like, what are these guys writing when it comes to these characters? I mean, you can't call on Gohan for extra help. I mean, imagine how. I mean, you got two full-blooded Saiyans, then you got fucking 3 additional Saiyans, with Saiyan blood that are highly, highly, able and ready to help do battle. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm really looking forward to seeing Gotenks and Trunks grow up a little bit, sometime in the future, guys. But if these manga, arcs tell you anything, I mean, they tell you that that's nowhere in the future. Okay, that's still years away. I mean, because, by the time we get these episodes drawn out in anime form, guys, we're looking at least 2 years, 2 new seasons, and who knows how they can spread that. They can spread that, within, in anime world, who knows? I mean, we could get them back to back, but it's highly unlikely. We might get one now, and then we might get another one 2 years later. It's all up in the air, guys. And then this COVID situation, I mean, we're not out of the park with that. We're not out of the woods with that. There's still things happening. And, there's a lot of new cases out here, and we could be, pushed back into, early COVID, protocol, and that would shake up more things for everybody. Anime, gaming, especially. I still don't have a PS5. Lord help me find a fucking PlayStation 5. But thankfully, I mean, that is why I pushed play on that fucking Xbox, guys, because I need something. Okay, something else to sink my teeth into if I can't get this PlayStation. And if I can't get one now, I mean, who knows when it's going to be. So I'm fingers crossed for all of this. But I say all that to say, these are the things that make me so happy to be a Dragon Ball fan. And one of the reasons I started this podcast was because of my affinity for Dragon Ball, even though there's not a lot of Dragon Ball stuff to discuss. But you know what? I'm going to start trying to incorporate more things, Dragon Ball, in this podcast, even though there's not really anything going on with the anime, and I am the anime guy when it comes to Dragon Ball, not the manga. So, even if I need to bring back old topics or old discussions for new listeners who haven't heard those episodes in the back, those early episodes, talking about discussing, characters, favorite characters of mine, things of that nature, my favorite arcs and all of that, I want to, bring some of that back and recycle some of that, moving forward, maybe some sort of Dragon Ball discussion, every episode, something, or at least a couple a month, just getting Dragon Ball back, in the airways, so to speak, because this podcast has kind of shifted to more so a gaming podcast, than anything. I talk about gaming more than I talk about anything else, just because there's so much going on in the gaming universe. And, that's the other thing that I love dearly. That's one of the only other things that I love. My favorite thing is video games and anime, those two hand in hand. So that's what I'm doing. I'm talking about anime as well, but I can't just talk about Dragon Ball. I mean, there's so many dope anime out there to discuss and that I've discovered, and I have passion for it, and I have to discuss those things with you guys. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way. I mean, Dragon Ball is definitely in our hearts, and there's other anime out there, and Dragon Ball has inspired me to go watch, and that's the reason why I'm an anime fan, because of Dragon Ball. It was the first one I've ever watched, I ever fell in love with. And it will always have that special place in my heart. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm going to try to, I'm going to go to the drawing board, and I'm going to see what I can come up with, guys, and some other discussions to discuss, about Dragon Ball. So, yeah, be looking out for that. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Okay? The last of the Mohicans. And I want to talk about Valve. Valve's new system, guys. Valve is interesting company. They are very interesting. Valve, there's some things I wish they would do, like make another Half-Life game. Technically, they did, but it was VR. But everybody wants another game from them, another console game. I mean, first person, third person, whatever you want to call it. We're looking for another Half-Life game, you know. But hey, who knows? They said they'll never make one again, but who knows? And then they turned around and did that VR shit, which was a dope VR game from what I saw. But they may surprise us again. I mean, we got the new consoles out. Maybe they're working on something we don't know about it. But I tell you what, they are working on a fucking new handheld fucking device. Okay, and if you've been hiding under a rock, guys, it's called the Steam Deck. All right, and a lot of people are giving it at the nickname the Switch Killer. All right, and if you look at the specs and all of that, then yes, you could seriously call it that. It basically looks exactly like the Switch. It's just a little bit thicker. It's a fucking handheld PC, is what it is, guys. I mean, it's a handheld PC. Now, I'm not a technical guy, especially when it comes to PCs and all of that, and what make PCs that powerful. I'm not a PC player, but this system grabbed my attention because I can see myself playing this because I have Steam on a laptop of mine, but I hardly play it because I'm just not, I'm not used to playing on that device. But I definitely would be interested in buying one of these. The prices are not that outlandish, but it's not overly over the top. But there are some things that are here that I'm kind of tilting my head at, and I'll get into some of that, guys. But as far as a new handheld, man, you can do a lot of things with this thing. All right, it's portable, number one. That's first and foremost. All right, and it's literally a PC, so you can take all the shit off if you want. It's basically running it's running a version of Steam's OS operating system. Now, if you wanted to, you could say, well, I don't want this on here. You could literally erase that, take that off of there, and you can run Windows on it if you wanted to, and it would run just fine. It's literally a portable PC, but it's in gaming form. It's meant to be for gamers, and you don't have to use Steam. I mean, you could run your shit off of another launcher. You could also, do your retro thing. You could go outside of that and play those. There's so many possibilities with this gaming PC, this portable gaming PC. That's what makes it so beautiful. You can also hook it up to a monitor or TV and play like that, and use another controller if you want, if that's how you want to play it. So there's so many options here, guys. Now, being a handheld form, of course, you're not going to be able to fit everything into this system to make it, one of those ultra powered, devices. All right, it's not going to beat, your current top of the line or even upper echelon type of PC. It's not going to do that. It's not going to rival that because it's not big enough to house those properties, that hardware. It's just not. But it still runs very respectably, and you can get a lot out of it, okay, out of the system. Now, there's 3 different versions of this system. Let me say that first. Now, the first system, which, upon further review, you probably want to stay away from if you're going to be running a lot of like big open world type of games. And I say that because it's only literally, I think it's 64 gigs. I'm sorry. Here goes this fucking gnat again, guys. I have one fucking gnat for the last couple weeks, and he doesn't even show up until I fucking record. And I think because that is because I have all my lights on. I have literally a ring light here on me. I have a light up top in the fucking in the man cave, and then I have another lamp in here, all lit. So I think when the light comes out, this motherfucker just comes out. He's a tiny little fucking gnat, and he gets on my goddamn nerves, and I got to figure out a way to kill this thing or whatever the fuck. It looks kind of like a little baby fruit fly, just one of these dudes. But anyway, back to the lecture at hand. The Steam Deck, 3 different versions, guys. One of the fucking versions is 64 gigabytes. That's it. All right. And they want $399 for that. So $50 more than the most expensive Switch. Okay. There is another version which is a 256 gigabyte version, and they want $529 for that. And the last one is a 512 gigabyte, and they want $650 for this one. Okay. Now, the difference between the first model and the next two models has something to do with everything. All systems run on the same. They're running the same hardware, but as far as memory is concerned, the first one isn't running. It's running something different now. Like I said, I'm not familiar with these terms, but it's running something that is gonna make loading a game on there and playing it, those bigger games, extremely hard. Now, all of these definitely have micro SD ports where you can put your micro SD card in. And here's where the issue is. And like I said, if you don't know about computers a lot, then one would assume that, oh, I'll just get a micro SD card, I'll download my games there. The micro SD card is a regular memory card. Okay, it's in other words, it cannot handle a huge open world game on that. It can't process it fast enough to make it, a good experience, so to speak. Okay, because these devices run on SSDs. Okay, SSDs now is the new future. It's if you don't have an SSD in under the hood, whether it be a laptop or anything, you're gonna really be hindered. It's gonna make things slow as fuck. Okay, and I really discovered that when my friend, shout out to J Love, did that to my PC. All right, I had a laptop, an HP laptop. It was 10-year-old laptop, guys. Still a beauty. It had an i7 in there, and I still love it to this day. But it took 5 minutes damn near to fucking start up from the time I hit the power button until it was up and ready to go, like everything fully functional without lag. And that was because it didn't have an SSD in there. Now, as soon as he put that fucking SSD in there, it comes on so fast. In other words, my MacBook starts up quick. It has very quick startup time. All right. Same thing now. It starts faster than the Mac now. I mean, I literally turn that bitch on. 9 seconds later, it is on and fully functional, ready to go. That SSD is no fucking joke. All right. And I saw that firsthand. And now these new systems, these current systems, have them as well. So me playing the Xbox Series S versus my PlayStation 4, major difference, guys. Major difference. Startup time from the time it takes for the PS4 to be on and ready to go. That is night and day. All my games, like quick resume, stupid crazy fast. I mean, I could turn it on. I could turn on the Xbox right now, and it would come on in literally maybe 6-7 seconds. It'd be on and ready to go, no questions. As soon as it's screen, I can see the screen. Boom, I'm pushing something and I'm in there. Okay, whether it be a fucking app, maybe I'm watching Crunchyroll and I'm stopped 5 minutes in, or it could be fucking Control, which I'm currently playing on that system, and I could jump right back in there. Okay. Probably sitting there in midair, just frozen, whatever, and it's going to get right back to it. So, I mean, it's night and fucking day, that SSD. All right. Now, they're going to start pretty quick. But as far as running games on them, and this goes for all the systems. I mean, now, if you're running the game on the SSD, that's different. That's why people are saying stay away. If you want to play bigger open world games, stay away from the first version. Now, if you're playing like anything, you could probably go. You can definitely do PS3 and below. You may even be able to do some PlayStation 4 type of games, but not a lot, because these games now, guys, if you don't know, I mean, some of these games are over 80 gigs, okay, to play. Some are in the early 100s, like 110 gigs to play after the updates and all of that. And you're talking about a 64 gigabyte machine. All right, and then you want to throw a micro SD card and you want to run the game off of that. Oh, you're not gonna play that fast. You're gonna if it's even playable, okay, it's going to fucking struggle. And that's basically what I had to understand and break down from the versions and what they mean. Now the first version is definitely for somebody who wants to play a lot of retro games. If you're into all your retro stuff, all the way up to like your Sega Genesis. You can even do like your Dreamcast mods and you can do some of those, maybe even running a GameCube emulator on there, something like that. You can probably do that, but anything else over that, then you're gonna want to switch over to one of the other two. That way you can actually download the games to the SSD and play it off of the SSD, and then you can get your your experience with it, your all your settings and all of that. You can kind of play around with it and have a decent experience. So if I were to buy one of these, I would recommend either the second or the third one, of course. If you're trying to save a little bit of coin, then yeah, 529 is cool. I mean, 256 gigs. I mean, I don't keep a lot of big games on my, game systems anyway, period. I might keep one on there and then, leave the rest for indie titles and smaller games that I like. And that's what I'd keep it. And then if I have to play another game, I would delete it and download a new one. That's what I would do. So, and then also you want to discuss there's going to be external devices for this as well, like in the future. Like currently right now, they're even working on a housing deck, kind of like the Nintendo Switch has. They're working on that. It's going to be sold separately, of course, but they're working on that so where you can just sit it in there and it'll work exactly like the Switch. So be looking out for that. More details when that comes. I'll definitely be talking about that. So I don't know how much it's going to cost. I mean, it shouldn't cost any more than, I would hope, $50, maybe $75. They might try to pull the warm butter out and hit it for 99 or something like that. Who knows? But I definitely want one of these systems, guys. And, it's still going to be a while. They announced the shit for December. So if you're looking, you're like, oh, when does it come out? December is when, they start releasing, December 3rd to be exact. But I already knew what was going to happen before it even happened. All right. And I say that to say, whenever you have new systems now, especially in the COVID era that we're living in now, guys, you can fucking cancel that shit. All right. Nobody's getting this shit when they in December. All right. There's going to be a few people that's going to get it if you were able to sign up for it. And it only costs $5 to pre-order this. Okay. You put $5 down. Boom. You got your system pre-ordered. The problem with that is they already broke the internet trying to get this. Scalpers have done it. And there have already been reports of scalpers trying to scalp this shit on eBay already now. So there's people who got their pre-order. All right. Been told they got their pre-order, and then they take that pre-order over to fucking eBay and say, here's the system, $850, okay, for the first version. Take it or leave it. All right. The cool thing is eBay is cracking down on that. All right. They're not going to allow you to post anything on this system if the game is it has to at least be within a month's time before they can post it. So these guys are looking for months ahead in trying to capitalize on that. So they're not going to allow that. So that's one way to remedy these scalpers. And, it's going to be hard, until new laws are set in place for these scalpers, because, it's a slippery slope when you talk about scalping, because, I mean, essentially, isn't everybody scalping, guys? I mean, if you look at it like that, if you look at it through that fucking lens, everything, that's how business is ran. I mean, you have a game that you go to the store and buy. Yeah, you're paying, $60, $70 for this game, but it didn't cost but a fraction of that to make. Okay. And that is what's going on. I mean, anything you look at, I mean, it's designed to make some sort of profit. All right. I mean, anything down to a fucking, soda pop at a 7-Eleven, that you can get for $0.25 in some fucking dispensaries. But, if you go to 7-Eleven or something like that, you're going to pay, triple that easily. You know what I mean? You might pay a fucking $1.50 for one can of soda. I mean, so everybody's scalping. I guess it's because of the degree of scalping that's taking place, and the fact that they're trying to corner the market so that nobody else can get it. And when you're stopping other sellers, it's cool if you want to scalp, cool. But if these things are available readily, then it kind of demolishes that. You know what I mean? So if you can find one anywhere, I mean, how are you going to be able to scalp it? You're not. But some people are just taking it too far. They're going over the top, like Sylvester Stallone in that movie, that arm wrestling movie. They're just taking it too fucking far, man. All right. And it needs to be addressed. And I guess some people are trying to address it, man. So there's a lot to discuss about this system. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about. I'm definitely excited about this system for all the things I mentioned prior. I mean, I definitely want to play a lot of games. I mean, I'd love to play like Max Payne 3 on this. I'd love to play stuff like that on here. Like a lot of these indie titles, I would love to play that. I would love to play, put a MAME system on there, some MAME software, man, and play some of those classic MAME games, Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, and shit like that, Ring King, games like that, WWF Superstars, those type of games I would love to play portable, period. I mean, on that thing. So looking forward to playing games like that. I'm not necessarily going to be playing AAA games on this device. It's just they're too demanding a lot of the time, and you have to play around with the settings a lot and to get all of these things. So that's why I play console games, so I don't have to worry about that. I can just plug and play. So, but it's definitely piqued my interest, and I definitely do want one, and I will eventually have one. The question with that is when. Okay, because with all these recent developments, and then you got to throw in COVID in there's a lot of things that are going to be unfavorable for people looking to buy this thing, and that is the date. Now, literally early in the day, really last night when I was taking my notes and looking into this stuff, guys, they were saying that the first quarter of 2022 is when most people would have the very first version, the 64 gigabyte version of this Steam Deck, right? And for the second one, it would be second quarter, and then you have third quarter for the third version, okay, the 512 gigabyte version, because so they're pushing them out that way. But I learned right before this podcast, I decided to double check and see if anything new developed, and yes, they're pushing them back even further now. So you're going to be lucky to get this in 2022, period, by the way this shit is going, okay? And I'm just keeping it real with you guys. That's what it's looking like now, especially with the COVID thing happening and still not out of the ballpark with that. And everybody's still trying to recover. And all these demand for these things. You should have known the demand was going to be high for something like this. I mean, it's just with the internet now and everybody wanting and learning about these things. I mean, you have to literally pre-order shit to have things now. You can't wait for things to come out. Okay, the pre-order world now is, I mean, it's its own thing. If you do not pre-order something that you want, it is going to be either fucking scalped or it's going to be hard to get, period, or even both. Okay, that's the age we're living in now. Everything has a fan base. Everything has, a community now behind it, and there's people watching. All right. So just get ready for that. I mean, the one that I'm wanting, which is the middle version, I mean, they said second quarter 2022. It's probably going to be, early 2023, guys. Just keeping it real, just being honest. So I'm not looking forward to this anytime soon. And if I were you, I wouldn't get my hopes up either, especially if you want one of the later models. So it's just going to be one of those things. But I did want to discuss this because I think this device is definitely a Switch killer in a sense, as far as, what it can do compared to the Switch. Yes. There's a lot of things. I mean, you could probably run a Switch emulator on there, and by that time, I think that people will be doing that. I think there's people already playing around with that concept, and, that happens, man. Look out, man. Switch killer for real. But the Switch, in specs, yes, it beats the Switch out. It pretty much everything beats the Switch out. I mean, I was talking to my kids earlier today, and they were playing Warframe, and they were discussing how they had it on the Switch, and they were like, yo, this shit is fucking lagging on there. They also said that, some other games that they tested out were very garbage on the Switch. And I think the other game was, what was the other game? Apex Legends was another game. And they were talking about how slow and trashy that shit ran. Everything's not meant to run on the fucking Switch. And I think they need to stop that, honestly. I think Switch needs to stop trying to, with certain games, because usually, when you think about Nintendo, they're their own people, they're their own thing, and they're going to, make what they want and for their system, like the Zeldas and the Daemon X Machinas and the, Astral Chains. Those games, they need to stick to those. All right, stick to the hardware that you have, that you know so well, and keep that running like that. As far as everything else is concerned, you probably want to chill on all these third-party games, so you can try to make money and stuff. It's not going to work. It's going to be a terrible experience for most players, and apparently that's what's been happening because, they're the guinea pigs in the situation, and they're telling me all this. So, the Switch is great for what it is. Like, I love my Switch for what it is and what it gives me. It gives me certain things that only Switch can give me, like Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I'm loving to this fucking day. All right. But if you had a Switch deck, you'd be playing that on that. Okay. You'd be running at least 60 frames. You'd be, doing it. So, I mean, there's things, but there's certain games that will not come out on PC, that you only have on a Switch. So that's why I have the Switch. And there's a lot of, indie games that I definitely love that I enjoy on the Switch as well. So it has its purpose. It definitely has its purpose. And just like this Steam Deck is gonna have a fucking purpose for me and for so many others when it does finally release. You know what I mean? So hopefully I have a PlayStation 5 before this. Okay, and I'm not joking. I mean, I may not. Who knows? I mean, like I said, the shit is starting to pick up with this COVID shit again. It is. I'd keep my ear to the streets, and we might be taking 2 steps back again. All right, and waiting longer on this stuff. So we'll see, man. I mean, it's pushing a lot of shit back. I just hope for the best as a gamer, as an anime fan, that we get, we get back to order. We're at least gonna get more stuff pushed out here soon, and that's all I can say about it. The battery life. Let's talk about the battery life a little bit on this thing, man. The battery life on this is pretty extensive, and I don't mean in a good way. Okay. I mean the boo boo is extensive. That's what I mean. We're looking at 2 to 8 hours. All right, depending on what you're playing. All right, now you can assume that it's gonna be maybe 3 or 4 hours. Okay, if you're playing some graphic intensive game, some AAA game or something like that. Yeah, you're trying to play Call of Duty or some shit on there. Yeah, you're gonna get 2 hours easy, and then that light is coming on. Okay, that's the only thing about these portable devices. I mean, yeah, you don't have a lot of battery life while you're chilling. You want to keep these plugged up at least at all times, and play them. Even if you're in the house somewhere, you keep that shit plugged up and play it that way. And that's what a lot of people are going to be doing. But this thing is definitely going to be awesome, for travel. I definitely see people using this for that, because you can hook it up to a TV or monitor with the right pieces, and you're good, man. You take your controller, you take that, boom, you're in the door. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things you can do on this. Like I said, it's literally a PC, so you can put your streaming, services on there. You can do movies on there. I mean, there's a lot of things that this thing brings to the table. You can watch your movies portable. Like, it's a lot of dope shit on here. Okay, so I even run some software on here, some other software. I think this thing has a lot of potential, and it gives you a lot of different options, guys. But that battery life is not it. Okay, it's going to be a USB-C dock. Okay, that I want to discuss real quick. That's what they're working on. It's going to be sold separately. I mentioned before, but yeah, that USB-C dock is growing. It's becoming very, very popular, and that's what a lot of people are looking at now. I've got a couple of those now, chargers now, and it's just like I guess that's where we're moving to. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, that's the gist of the system. I mean, it has a 7-inch touchscreen as well, so about the same size as the new Nintendo Switch that's coming out in October is going to have. So yeah, there's a lot of memes right now going on with the Nintendo Switch and this Steam Deck thing. Okay, how Nintendo is just basically gouging people for money, and which I have to agree with that. I mean, right now everybody was looking for a Switch Pro. They didn't get it. They just got a slightly different version of a Switch again. Now there are 4 different Switches out here on the market, and these motherfuckers just knocked us unconscious and pulled off our garments, and the rest. Okay, warm butter is definitely involved. So I mean, Nintendo, I can't get behind that. But if you're somebody out there who doesn't have a Switch yet, then okay. But for most of us who are Switch owners, if you don't have them by now, I mean, the Switch has been out for like, what, 5 fucking years? Some shit like that. Most of us have one that wanted one. And, this is kind of a low blow in a sense. So very few people, compared to the Switch owners now, are going to really capitalize. You may be one of those people who want to buy one, even though you already have a Switch, just for the sake of having it, and you're a big Nintendo fan or whatever, and that's cool too. But, it's not for me on that aspect. And I'll leave you guys with that. I mean, that is the podcast. That is the show. I hope you guys enjoyed your time listening. If you're streaming, if you downloaded, whatever the case may be, guys, I just want to thank everybody, all the listeners who have made this show what it is today, and the new listeners coming, discovering this podcast, downloading it, streaming it. I hope you guys come back. We do this shit every fucking Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. I love each and every one of you guys. I'll say that again. And I will see you guys next week, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to eat some chicken fried steak. Yeah, and then I have some things to work on. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to bid you adieu. This is your boy, StudioMaguyver. And you have been listening to StudioMaguyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.